This is about Michael, the executive who lost everything. Michael lost everything. Listen, Michael had spent 22 years building a successful business. His business identity was wrapped in achievement, titles, and recognition. He believed God had blessed his work, but deep down inside, he trusted his accomplishments more than he trusted God. And then everything changed. A major contract disappeared and revenue declined and relationships fractured. The life Michael had carefully constructed began to crumble. So for months, he prayed to God to restore what he had lost. Instead, God whispered, "Michael, you're asking me to rebuild what I allow to fall. Allow me to reintroduce myself." Michael knew God as a provider, but now he was learning that God was his source, the source. A provider can be connected to a paycheck, a client, or even a business. But the source can create provisions from anywhere. Now, as Michael surrendered control, new opportunities emerged from unexpected places. His greatest breakthrough didn't come from recovering his old business. It came from discovering his true purpose. Now, years later, Michael would say, "I thought God was taking something from me. He was actually introducing me to a version of himself I had never known. I had never known." God said, "Allow me to reintroduce myself." Let me talk to you about Keisha. Keisha is the woman who forgot her own light. Keisha had spent most of her life helping others discover their own value, their own light. She encouraged friends. She mentored young women. She inspired people everywhere she went. Yet secretly, Keisha struggled to see her own worth, her own life. Past disappointments had convinced Keisha that she was called to serve, but not to shine. One evening, after another season of feeling overlooked, she sat alone and prayed in her bathroom, "God, have you forgotten me?" The answer came quietly to her spirit. "No, Keisha, you've forgotten who I created you to be. Allow me to reintroduce myself." Keisha knew God as a comforter. Now she would know him as a revealer. God began showing her gifts that she had minimized, that she had buried, that she had ignored. He reminded her that she was not an accident, she was not an afterthought, and she was no one's backup plan. Keisha was intentionally designed for her assignment. As Keisha embraced her calling, doors opened that she could have never forced on her own. Now, looking back, Keisha realized that God wasn't introducing her to a new version of himself. He was introducing her to a version of herself he had already seen. This message is for you. To all the Keishas out there, this message is for you. Here's a lesson for Michael and Keisha. Sometimes God introduces himself as the source when you only known him as the provider, the healer when you've accepted living wounded, the restorer when you've settled for loss, the waymaker when you can't see your own path, and the revealer when you've forgotten who you are. Listen, sometimes when God says, allow me to reintroduce myself, he is also saying to you, allow me to reintroduce you to yourself. Because the closer you get to God, the more clearer you begin to see who he created you to become. Did you hear me? This is our declaration for the day. Say these words. I am open to a greater revelation of God and a greater revelation of myself. The thought, the God who brought me this far is not finished with me yet. New levels, new vision, new favor, and new purpose are being revealed. I am ready for what is already mine. And so it is. I know you hear me, but are you listening? This message is for you.